Tom, with the cross-country season leading to the indoor season, leading to the outdoor track and field season, do you ever have an off-season?
The only off-season we really have is the summer. The athletes are still training over the summer. Coaches are still recruiting, preparing for the upcoming season. And so although it's time off, it's not really time off. I mean, we're still working. But it is the time of the year where if you can say we have an off-season, that would be the summer.
You take a little bit of a break at Christmas, but you've actually already started your indoor season with the K-State All-Comers meet, and I think that's an interesting meet. Can you talk about the athletes that actually go to that meet and the levels that they represent?
Sure. I mean, that's a meet where it's most track and field programs follow a similar type of progression and a similar type of build, and that meet is geared for your sprinters, your throwers, your jumpers. There's no distance events contested, so it's a shorter meet, smaller fields. But the competition is really strong. We only take athletes that we feel are ready to compete at that time, and those that aren't, we're going to leave them at home and allow them to continue to train and improve. But it's held at K-State, so it's an opportunity for us to run against some Division I competition. There are other Division IIs and even some NAIA schools there, some JUCOs as well. So you get a good mix of all different divisions, and it's a really good way to gauge your fitness level, your ability level at the end of the fall training period.
Obviously, the indoor season, you don't have to deal with weather and that sort of thing, but what are the other differences between indoor and outdoor?
The indoor season, at least indoor track meet, it's more intimate. Typically, it's on a 200-meter track. There are a few oversized tracks where it would be 300 meters, such as Iowa State, but typically it's a 200-meter track, which means all the events are in close proximity. And so it has a more intimate feel. It's louder. The cheering gets quite a bit louder, which is nice. But it provides, it's an opportunity to see everybody in the same place. With more and more stadiums putting turf in the infield, field events have been removed from the stadium and kind of fit wherever colleges and universities have some green space, and for some schools that spreads everything out. We're fortunate here that our throws are still located right next to our stadium, so you can still be a part of the action, but it's nice to have that intimate feel in the indoor season.
Take a moment, if you would, and tell us about some of the athletes that you're counting on this year.
We've got a great senior class, some juniors as well, and expect a lot of things out of senior Jess Connery. She was an all-conference cross-country runner for us this year. She currently holds several cross-country school records as well as track school records. In fact, she's got the 1,500-meter record here as well as the marathon record, so that shows you the versatility she has as a runner. So I expect big things out of her for the indoor season. Jessica Borey, pole vaulter, she was conference champion last year, and I expect her to just continue to jump higher. And she was at USTF CCCA Academic All-American last year, which means she had to qualify for the national meet as well as maintain a 3.5 GPA, which she did easily. And she did not get to compete in the national meet last year due to our provisional status. But this year I hope to see her make the qualifying cut and represent William Jewell at the national meet. Clint Edier, he's a very dominant sprinter in everything from the 60-meter to the 400-meter. Very strong, very powerful, but also has a big gas tank. He can go forever, and he can work like a dog. And so I'd like to see him do well in the 400 and qualify in the 400 if he can. And then Troy Fletcher was a conference champion in the discus last year, and he's made great gains in the weight throw. And so this indoor season, I'm excited to see how far he can actually throw that out there. I think he's got a good chance to break the school record, and be excited to see if he can do that. We've also got some juniors, Maggie Swenson, who's the current school record in the 400-meter, and Kotenesi Guillaume, who is part of all of our record-holding relay teams. Those two ladies are going to do a great job leading the rest of our women's sprinters. And we've got some newcomers. Freshman Uriah Hetty is a strong miler, and I expect him to do well. And then Margaret Perko in the hurdles and the jumps, and Colton Simmons in the hurdles as well. And so we've got a lot of names, and I know I'm leaving people off, but it's an exciting year.
You guys have one indoor meet under your belt, and what's coming up next for you?
Well, the next meet for us will be hosted by Missouri Southern State University. That'll be on the 11th and the 12th, and that meet is a full meet. It's a 2-day meet, so every event will be contested. It'll be the first time that our cross-country runners, our distance runners, have an opportunity to compete in the indoor season. And so it's a great meet, great host down there with Missouri Southern. Talented field, I expect a talented field. A few conference schools should be there. It'll be a great place to see where we are, to see what work was done over the winter break, and to see where we need to go next.
GLVC has an indoor championship, and where is that going to be held, and when is it going to be held?
That meet will be held at the end of February, and that's held at the University of Indianapolis. It's a brand new facility. It's a dome that they constructed last year. Part of the deal was that it was going to host one of the Super Bowl teams, and so they pulled out the turf, and underneath is a 200-meter Mondo track, and so I'm excited to get in there. And I've seen the dome. I've been in the dome. Haven't seen it set up for a track meet, but talking to Coach Fangman over there, he says it's a great place to run.
Yeah, I can imagine it, knowing their facilities, that it will be fantastic. You go from the indoor season to the outdoor season, and we'll visit with you more about that, but I know you're focused on this indoor season. And what is it in particular, other than maybe some of the things you've mentioned, that you're looking forward to this season for indoor track?
I'd like to, I guess one of our primary goals are to continue to attack our record book. But also, being this is our first year of championship eligible, we'd like to get some kids to the national meet. And so the first step to do that is to attain the qualifying marks and then improve those marks so you're high enough on the list that you get invited to the national meet. And so being our first year out, I do believe that we have several athletes capable of doing that. Senior Sarah Stadnick is one of them. She's knocking on the door of the B standard right now, or the provisional standard. And so that's something I'd really like to see this season. But also, we've got a large group of freshmen, and I'm looking to just have our upperclassmen kind of mold them and teach them and pull them along as the next generation of Cardinal athletes come through.